right, then. So on Maritime today, we're going to be doing a whole lot in terms of strategies that are required for sustainable growth in Nigeria's shipping sector. And joining me on the phone line this morning, Vivian Chimezie-Azubuikwe. Of course, she's the Director General, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, and she's connecting with us on the phone line. Madam, it's nice to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Oteri. It's my pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. It's been a long time coming for you to feature on this program, so let's just jump on it right away. First off, what is your appraisal of the maritime sector's current trajectory as it stands today?
I think we are on the right course. There's been a lot of efforts from the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Our Honorable Minister is quite involved and has been listening to stakeholders. There's been a lot of efforts from the parastatals and the ministries. We've seen a lot of effort from NIMASA under the administration of Dr. Moberola. We've seen a lot from Barrister Akuta from People's Council. We see NPA, NIWA. There's been a lot of deliberate efforts, even the CRFFN. And I think it brings us to the consciousness again that, we're a maritime nation with huge potentials that I feel that we've not tapped enough from because of the strategic position we hold in the industry and also geographically. So I see a lot of efforts, and I know there's a lot to be gained from such efforts if we continue on this trajectory.
All right. So you believe that the setting up of a ministry for marine and blue economy is responsible for these dynamics that we're experiencing?
Yes, I believe so, because it's giving us a clear direction, right? And then also the news has been confirmed that the policy has also been signed. So I see that it's one of the best things that's happened to us in the industry for a very long time.
Right. All right. This policy is seeking to really position Nigeria as a maritime hub, and is projecting that Nigeria can generate at least 7 trillion naira annually from this industry. From what you see, it looks that it's potentially rich, but is that the way it's going to be? Is that the way it is, really?
Well, I think that since we have already confirmed that our policy has been signed, it has been approved, I feel that it will give us the roadmap as to how to tap into the potentials. So the $7 trillion or any amount that is actually projected to be the potential, what it shows to us is that there's a lot to be achieved from that. So we now have a roadmap that will help us to actualize that. So I think we are in the right direction. I feel that we have the right people who are, manning the ships, and that the stakeholders' involvement, which I see a lot of efforts being made from the ministry, also has been consistent. I don't think we'll get it wrong.
All right. So Nigeria is not short of documents of this nature, Vivian, because if you look at what we have, even in other sectors, we have very, very robust documents that articulate what Nigeria should be and where we should be traveling. But the challenge has always been implementation. So how different will this policy from the marine and blue economy be from all other documents of that nature that has been formulated?
I think this is the first time we are having a document for real, because in the past we've been waiting for the accentuation of these other documents. But now that we have them, what is important is that we'll continue to engage with stakeholders and will remain consistent with the trajectory the global industry is also going. But there's been a lot that's happening in the industry when it comes to the disruptions that happened post-COVID, technological, human capital development, upskilling and reskilling. There's a lot that's happening. They call for green shipping, green energy as a result of the need for zero carbonization. So there's a lot that's happening. So what we need to do is understand where the global industry is going and stay on course.
Right. Well, potentially rich, as the case may be, but how will the shipping sector really, or how is it contributing to Nigeria's economic development? From what you see, are we really, of course, we have the document there, but current realities on ground, how is it contributing to Nigeria's economic growth?
Yeah, well, like I said before, the industry has a lot of potentials um to grow the GDP of the country, right?
Mm.
And I think what we've done in the past is that we have not really taken ownership of our status as a maritime nation. But now, like I said, in the past few years, we've seen that conscious and deliberate effort by all the recognized regulatory agencies, the ministries. And whilst we would like to be positive about what the potentials are, I would rather we stay on that space and ignore what has happened in the past, honestly, because we may not be the only nations that have experienced some setbacks as a result of such situations, but because of what the future of the maritime industry holds, I see a lot of positivity coming out from it.
All right, then I can see the positive vibes that you are really bringing to the table this morning. Let's digress a bit to focus on your own chamber, the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. What do you guys do?
Yeah. Okay, the Chamber of Shipping is the advocacy platform for the Nigerian maritime industry. We are on the board of the International Chamber of Shipping. International Chamber of Shipping is an advocacy and advisory organization that covers over 90% of the shipping industry in the world.
Okay.
And so it's quite a privilege for us to be there. Not only are we there as the chamber, we are there for Nigeria because it is the only African organization on the board.
Ooh.
And and then we represent, and then because of the role that the International Chamber of Shipping plays at the International Maritime Organization, which is the governing body recognized internationally, right? That has other countries that make up the membership. It is quite a privilege for us, and so the role we play is that we attend meetings. We also advocate on behalf of Nigeria. We also speak for Nigeria. We attend a lot of meetings. We submit our position papers through ICS to International Maritime Organization. It's a lot that we are doing at that space. The Chamber of Shipping also, as an advocacy body, also holds different kinds of fora, for the private sector. And what we want to do is to ensure that we have indigenous participation of the ship owners in Nigeria. We want to see a growing maritime industry. We want to see, that Nigeria continues to hold this place as a maritime nation. And then we also have other capacity building programs that we hold for upskilling of capacity for different cadres of officials or personnel in the maritime industry. We also partner with international organizations if we have to.
We'll still touch down on those ones as well and look at other areas where you're building this kind of capacity. But how long has the association been in existence?
Oh, we've been in existence for over 2 decades now.
Wow.
I think we were more heard when we started the cabotage drive. But yes, and the act for having indigenous participation. So that was when we had a lot. We were heard. That was about the time we were instituted as an organization that speaks for the industry.
All right. So who are those you interface with? I mean, yours is just a kind of advisory and advocacy body. So who are those that you interface with in the industry?
We interface with the private sector, with the ship owners, the lawyers. We advocate with all the operators in the industry, and then, of course, definitely with the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy and the ministries and their agencies.
All right.
NIMASA, MPA, Shippers Council, NIWA, CRFFN, and the likes.
All right. Anyway, we featured so many shipping associations on this program. Now, of course, we've seen what they are doing, especially in terms of contributing to building the Nigerian economy. Let's touch down on shipping services and, of course, the experience of shippers as it is today. Obviously, they've not been having it very, very pleasant, especially for those who are into importation and exportation of goods. So what advisory or perhaps what advocacy has the Chamber of Shipping been able to bring in more or less to also advocate on perhaps shipping costs in Nigeria?
Well, I see there are lots of conversations that we have, because the Chamber of Shipping, we don't act more like a pressure group, we are an advocacy. So we will actually liaise with these other associations. And I see that we have had a lot of conversations that we've also had in that regard. So most times we are not really interested in coming out and making it loud, but we have a lot of engagements. And I know that we are doing a lot in that space also.
Let's talk about infrastructure for shipping services in Nigeria. Where are we from your assessment, and of course from the assessment of the chamber?
Well, for infrastructure, I think we do have some efforts to make. Yes, okay. We need to put in some more efforts in infrastructure. And the reason is this. The reason is because, like I said earlier, the global shipping industry is selling on, right? And there's been a lot of disruptions that have brought us to this space now. And so I feel that there are a lot of efforts to improve infrastructure. I see that maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, we will see these things happening. And I think it's important to also identify that we already have a port that already has some of these infrastructure, right? So what we want to do is continue to re-strategize and restructure our engineering processes in ensuring that we also place ourselves at that position to make Nigeria the hub of shipping in West Africa and Africa at large. So I think it's just because some of the ports, and we know that some of the ports are old, right? But then I see that there's a lot of development. I mean, there have been some efforts, and what we want to see actually is the consistency of the efforts. I'm sure that when we continue to be consistent, we're going to see what we all desire.
Well, some observers have said our ports are perhaps, in terms of costs, one of the most expensive that people can deal with across the world. So what are agencies or perhaps bodies like yours doing to advocate for cheaper costs of freighting goods and all of that? What are you guys doing in that regard?
Okay, I think with the introduction of the single window, some of these things would be, these questions will be taken care of. There was a stakeholders event where, the single window forum was held, and we see that some of these things will be taken care of. I'm sure that one of the challenges we've had is digitalization. By the time we put in more resources in digitizing our processes and automating some of our processes, or all of our processes, we wouldn't have this to be talking about.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Strategies for sustainable growth in Nigeria's shipping sector is our focus on Maritime Today, and Vivian Chimezie-Azubuikwe is taking us to the classroom expertly this morning. She's Director General, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, and we're reflecting on this. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, not too long ago, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency actually announced that from the year 2025, there will be the disbursement of the CVFF, which is the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. What is the position of the Chamber on the disbursement, and of course, how can we effectively improve shipping services? These are many more we'll be reflecting on. Plus, we also hear from you as well. 080-99-120-777 and 091-5387-7127. A brief break. We'll be back.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and I still have with me Vivian Chimezie-Azubuikwe. Of course, she's our guest on the program this morning, the Director General Chamber of Shipping, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. Let's get back to the roads. Within the Ogba and corridor, talking about it's very busy movement if you're coming in from Metal Box inwards Acme Junction and Fumek connecting Adeni Jones. This is due to high influx, and of course the access to the second gate being cordoned off. That's within the within the Acme end, and that's occasioned by activities of the APC Secretariat. That's at the APC Secretariat at Acme. But we have a structure, traffic management structure in place, just to try and see how they can help you streamline the traffic and ensure sanity within that corridor. So those of you who are still trying to access Acme, take note. It's still cordoned off a bit at the second gate, so you need to take note of that. But most other areas are still looking very, very cool and calm. All right, then let's get back to the conversation. Vivian, not too long ago, NIMASA announced that they're going to be disbursing the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. This is a fund that has been established from 2004, 21 years down the line, not yet disbursed. But this time around, Dr. Dayo Mubriola, of course, under the supervision of the Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, did say that this year they are going to be disbursing that fund. That must sound like good news to you, Vivian.
Yes, it does. It does indeed, because CVFF is for growing capacity. It's part of what ship development is all about, and it's for the indigenous ship owners. So we are quite excited with this development.
All right, so $700 million is what is at stake here in terms of disbursement. And during the stakeholders forum some 2 days ago, Dr. Mobriola did say that it's going to be single-digit interest. That should also be pleasant to indigenous ship owners. But what framework do you think this should be done so that we do not have a situation whereby we borrow this money and it goes into thin air? What's the point of view? What's the perspective from the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping?
Yeah, so what we from the Chamber of Shipping thinks is that there should be some kind of committee, that would be monitoring in the disbursement, and also ensuring that these funds are put into use as requested. Now, some of these things were mentioned at the forum, and because they appeared as gray areas, but we were quite convinced with the framework that NIMASA has, because not only will NIMASA be monitoring, I think the PLIs will also be monitoring, because they will be part of the people that are funding,
Right.
And they also have a stake in it. They want to get the recovery of their funds. And I feel that also the moratorium that was identified as 2 years moratorium that will be given, and also the space of years that's been given, is fair enough for recovery purposes. And not only, I think we should also bear in mind that it's important to note that when these funds are used well, it will be available for others to access also.
All right.
So it's not a one-time fund that you give out. It's not a grant. So while there is a recovery pattern that ensures that these funds come back, it should be available. So we see a consistent overturn of these resources. But for us at the Chamber of Shipping, we want to see the agency, NIMASA, involved the Chamber of Shipping as also and a few stakeholders to ensure that we're also part of like a one-stop shop that would also assist in ensuring that the processes are well coordinated, and that the very essence of the disbursements of these funds are actualized.
All right. This is not the first time we're hearing of this kind of announcement. In 2020, the Honorable Minister for Transportation, then Rotimi Amechi, did announce the same way that NIMASA was going to disburse the funds. In 2022, the Minister for Transportation then, Honorable Muazu, also announced and even mentioned 5 banks as the primary lending institutions. Now, Dr. Dayo Mubirela is coming out with the minister to say we are going to disburse the fund. Is it going to be a case of same script, different cast?
No, I don't think so. The reason I say this is because already there's just been a lot of framework that's been put together. For instance, there is a portal that you can go in and start, filling up your information. So there's been, they've taken it a step further. And we cannot also ignore the fact that, yes, there might be interest in ensuring that these things happen.
Right.
But also underlying the effects of bringing this thing to bear might not be very conducive. So now that the Honorable Minister has confirmed this, I'm sure that he has the backing from the presidency. Absolutely. So which is what is very, very important.
All right. Then.
So we believe that this will come to fruition.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to it.
All right, then. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Let's see if we can expand the scope beyond the studios to also have your input as well. 09153877127. The brightest song right now in the maritime industry is the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. What do you guys think about it? And do you think this time around Nigeria will be able to bring that to bear? If I'm going to just provide a background, this is a fund that is meant to stimulate indigenous shipping. At the moment, as we are right now, the foreigners are the ones dominating the industry. And they're the ones that bring their ships. We do not have our own in terms of even carrying our flag to other countries where we are right now since the death of NNSL. All right, there's a message here that says, good morning, Traffic Radio. Vivian, do you think Nigeria is doing enough to support indigenous shipping companies? Olamide is asking that question. Thank you so much, Olamide. Vivian? Hello?
Well, I think I'm here. I think the very essence of this progress that we're making in industry is to ensure that the indigenous ship owners are taken care of.
Okay.
That's going to be my answer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Another question here says, good morning, Traffic Radio. Please, Ma, do you think... please, Ma, what do you think about the present condition of port infrastructure in Nigeria? Tony is sending this one in from Apapa. Tony, thank you.
Okay, Tony. So the truth is that we have had ports that are really old, very old. And you will agree with me that anything that's old will be overtaken by modern technology. So it's not about crying about the woes. It's about looking about up to the future. And I'm sure that's what we're doing. And let's not forget that Lekki Port, Lekki Deep Sea Port is there. They have the infrastructure. And they are working. Right? So let's continue to promote our own and look forward to the future. And like I said earlier, I see efforts towards restructuring our processes. I see efforts towards the re-engineering of our infrastructure. I think we should start looking at this and actually hold the agencies responsible for these so that we can see them to be accountable to what we desire as a maritime nation.
Okay, then, so very brief responses, even as a round off on the program. This one says, good morning, Victor. Do you believe Nigeria is truly maximizing the potentials of its coastal advantage? You didn't put your name, but thank you so much. So are we really, really maximizing the potentials? I mean, we have very, very large economic exclusive zones, but from what you see, are we really taking good advantage of that?
I don't think so. I think I mentioned that earlier, and I feel that we will start optimizing those potentials because now we have a roadmap.
Right. Okay. I'm going to sneak this one in. This one says, good morning, Ma. What are your thoughts on the slow pace of vessel financing support for Nigerian ship owners? If you're Ma, I think you've touched down on that one as well. Even as we gradually wind to the end this morning, the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, who are those that can join you? Who are your members?
We'll be happy to have recognized business in the maritime industry, especially ship owners that have run business for at least 1 to 3 years. We can confirm that you're already in the business. And we also have a category for maritime lawyers and other operators in the industry.
All
So
right.
yes, you're all welcome.
Okay, then. Well, let's round it off right now. So, what's your parting thoughts on the program? What message do you have to the stakeholders that we have in the industry? What's your message this morning?
I'm absolutely quite excited with the developments in the industry. One for me is that we have started, owning our membership as a maritime nation, because there's a lot of desire to go back to IMO, the category C. And that for me shows that, okay, we want to again try to start operating as the maritime nation that we've been known for in the past years. So I see a new future. I see a ministry that is listening to the stakeholders.
All right.
And I see a lot of involvement also. But I'm also looking forward to more conversations around with the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping,
All right.
around the other developments in the global shipping industry,
Okay.
such as and you can also confirm that for the presidency to have assented to domesticated some of the laws,
All right.
it shows that there is a lot of interest in the industry,
Which is very, very
and
good.
I hope that that all hands on deck, and will be happy to sail on.
All right, then.
Thank you.
A comfortable point to terminate this conversation. Let me say a very big thank you to you for connecting with us this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Terry, and thank you for holding me on to this time.
All right, then. Okay, then. So that's how
Appreciate
far
it.
we go. Strategies for sustainable growth in Nigeria's shipping sector. And guesting on the program this morning, Vivian Chimezie-Azubuikwe, who is Director General, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. We have to go. Dayo Anthony has produced the program this morning. Maximum shout out going out to Rebecca Adamo, who's Assistant Director, Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. Let me also appreciate Osaje Edwards for logistic support as well. In the studios, I have Marvelous Mbakwe, and of course from our social media team, Deborah Bolidioku and Okpayemi Shodunke. We do appreciate you. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. You can connect with the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. I'm out. Stay very much within. Bye.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468.
For you, we dey gidigba, gidigba, eh.
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanir.